morning, everybody. Thank you for checking out this video. Today I'm going to be reading something that's maybe a little bit longer, so please bear with me, but it's about Balaam and his donkey, and it's found in Numbers 22, verse 21 through 31. So the next morning, Balaam got up, saddled his donkey, and started off with the Moabite officials. But God was angry that Balaam was going, so he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his ways. As Balaam and his two servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into a field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood at a place where the road narrowed between two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it tried to squeeze by and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved farther down the road and stood in a place too narrow for the donkey to get by at all. This time, when the donkey saw the angel, it lay down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat the animal again with his staff. Then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to speak. "What have I done to you that deserves your beating me 3 times?" it asked Balaam. "You have made me look like a fool," Balaam shouted. "If I had a sword with me, I would kill you. But I am the same donkey you have ridden all of your life," the donkey answered. "Have I ever done anything like this before?" "No," Balaam admitted. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam bowed his head and fell face down on the ground before him. Right here, we just get a perfect example of what we as Christians do all the time. God does something that's really incredible in our lives, and it just kind of goes right over our head. And if you really can't think of any kind of an example, I thought of a few real quick that I wrote down. One of them that we like to say is, "I don't know how I didn't hit that car. I overcame my addiction. I got lucky. It was hard, but I did it." But one thing that you notice in every single one of those sentences is all of the "I dids." But you ever really stop to think that it wasn't really what you did, it's what God's doing. It's instead, God kept me from hitting that car, or God took my addiction away. God had his hand over me, or this has been hard, but God strengthened me to overcome. I heard a great quote last year at our church, and it really sticks with me because I can really agree that this is so true. And it's, "Where many believe in coincidence, I choose to believe in providence." There really isn't any part of what God has done in this world or in our life that he doesn't know or care about. It includes my life, and it includes your life. It includes everything. He set everything into motion, and there is not one small thing that doesn't happen in our life that he doesn't know about. In Luke 12:7, it talks about God knows all the hairs on our head are numbered. Every last detail is known because it was made and done by God. And we can't really lose focus of what God is doing all around us because it's happening all the time. Going back to Balaam, he was so focused, but he wasn't focused on God. He was focused on his anger and frustration at his donkey. In fact, he was so focused that he didn't even notice that when God gave the donkey the ability to speak. And I love that it points out that God gave the donkey the ability to speak, not God speaking through the donkey, not the angel speaking through the donkey. The donkey spoke. The donkey even asked if he had ever acted like this before. And because the donkey was able to remember his life, we can tell that God gave this animal cognitive thought, so it was able to remember its whole life and everything that it had done. And as unbelievable as that is, or seeing something like that, Balaam completely misses it. It's really crazy if you want to sit there and think about it, because an animal starts talking to you, and you're so angry that you completely forget about it. Reading that in the Bible, you think that it's kind of impossible for you or I to miss anything like that, but often in times we really do. And we get so worried about with our own accomplishments, or on the opposite, the worries that we have in life, that we miss what God is doing, the miracles that he's performing in our life. And I'm not really trying to make anybody feel guilty right here. I'm trying to shift your focus into what God is doing all the time. And this is something that I need to apply within my own life as well. Forget about your own self and start paying attention to what God is working all around us. In Romans 8:5, it says that, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit." the more we sit down into worldly views and thought processes, the more we begin to lose sight of God and staying in His presence. This is why it's so important for us to keep our focus sharp and fixed on God. The world really wants to suck us into itself, and it can be difficult at times, but we must remember that God is right there and He is still working around us, and He's keeping His hands over our lives. We really need to stay positive in what God has done for us, and the more that we do that, the more it will honestly begin to help us. I can remember a time not too long ago when I received a text from somebody at work. I don't want to give any names out, but somebody from work, and they had thanked me for the extra pep in my step, as they said. And I responded back to their text, and I said, well, that's the difference that God can make in somebody's life. And I think it's really cool that somebody was able to notice that there had been a big change with me, and that I was really trying to apply the positivity that God can give us in our life. And I mean, the Bible even tells us that we're to be lights in this dark world, and the more we do that, the more people will begin to notice. Readjusting your focus on God may seem like it's really difficult to do, but when you really shift your focus and you really begin to focus on what God is doing, you will begin to see the miracles that God is doing all around your life. I mean, one thing that you can be sure of, because I've noticed this, is that the more aware you are of God, the more you'll begin to notice like these subtle little winks that He does at you. And it's an amazing feeling, because now I really hope that somebody can experience that feeling that God does in your life after this video. I mean, I see it all the time. I mean, it can be just little things that you hear in church from maybe what a pastor is saying, or it can be a testimony that, a great example of this is I was meeting with my dad and a few other people to talk about things going on in my own life. And what was really awesome was from 3 different people in a period of about 1 week, I heard all 3 of them say the exact same thing to me. And one of them was, don't really kind of push your way through, ask God to open doors in your life. And every single one of these 3 people that I had met with, they said that. I mean, they hadn't talked to each other or sat down, but God was just doing that subtle little wink at me to let me know that, that is what you really need to do in your life. It's great. I love seeing those kind of situations. I'm sorry my hair is getting in my face. Normally I've got it up in that little man bun. But being able to focus on God can really change how you act in your day-to-day life. It can create such great positivity with us, and we as Christians are supposed to be more positive and be that example of Christ. Especially in times like this, it is so important to remember to be that light for people. I mean, in these horrible times, it is such an important thing, because small actions that we do, I mean, very, very small actions that we do, can have a huge impact on other people in our life. And it can be something from a nice gesture that you do to something that you say to somebody. It can have a lasting effect in other people's lives. So I really hope that tonight, I'm sorry, I feel like this video is really sped up because Sam and the kids are gone right now. So I was trying to hurry up and get it done before they get back. And I got work early in the morning. But I really appreciate everybody checking this video out. And I really hope that what I've said can help you have a better focus on what God is doing around your life. If you could, just share with me anything positive that God does, maybe in the comment section, or shoot me a message. One thing that God is winking at you with in your life, and I'd love to be able to read that, or share it with other people. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. So I appreciate your time. Thanks, guys.